Hello everybody, vanburman here, welcome back. Today we are doing something a bit different, as always. I thought it might be nice to do something that I've not done before and see if there's any interest in it. I've got my tea, which is usually a good sign. So in front of us we have the GTX 295, the 295th graphics card that Nvidia released. That's not true, don't quote me on that. And cut a long story short, I'm going to be doing some testing on it at some point, and I thought it would be a good idea to take it apart and see if it is dirty or dusty and potentially change the thermal paste on it. So I've had a look at it already and a little bit to make sure that it's working. There's a bit of a workaround, but we'll go through that in the actual video. And I don't think there's any issues with temps or anything like that I'm aware of. They all seem perfectly normal. Admittedly, there's not a huge overclock that I'm going to get out of it by the looks of it, but that can happen. And this one, usually the GTX 295 have a little sticker on the front. They all pretty much look the same. They're all sort of an OEM cooler design, which a lot of well, at least the 690 was as well, to be fair, even though made by various people. Same with the Titan, and then the 10 series Founders Editions, same sort of thing. So, although this obviously preceding that by quite some time. This is the Dell variant. It's from a Dell pre-built. My goodness, it must have been a pretty good pre-built back in the day. And it's got this little fin attachment which is used to attach into a case to slide in. And I don't know if there might have been more than one of these. I mean, that could be the case, but I thought it looks pretty cool with it on. So I am going to put it back on, but just thought I'd take that off to start off with. Here's the area where the brands would put their nice little sticker on. And other than that, there's not really too much else to tell you, to be honest. It sort of is what it is. There is a good amount of screws. We've also got this sort of, I don't know, I guess it's like a spacer. I mean, that's sort of what it looks like to me. So I'm going to go through and start unscrewing, basically. I think we're all probably like noughts, I reckon, Phillips naught. So I've got this kit that I use, very well worn at this point, I must say, as well. We'll try a 0. Let's see where we go. And you can just get these off Amazon. They're quite cheap. They're sort of knockoff iFixit kits, in a way. Although I'm sure that iFixit weren't the first. Oh, so we've got spring screws as well. You know what? Actually, looks like a lot of these are spring screws. So I've not got anything to track it on. This is just an anti-static pad, but really just to protect the tabletop. And this, yes, well, or it's to protect these chips here. Interesting though, it does say Nvidia on it. That's yeah. Lots of weird little bits like that I've noticed, especially in sort of owning more of the unusual graphics cards that Nvidia have made. I don't know how deep we're going to have to go with unscrewing, but knowing Nvidia, or whoever they've had to make this, Foxconn or someone like that, there will be a large amount to undo, probably way more than I would like. So do bear that in mind. This could be a bit of a long one, but I'm sure I will edit it down. He says, absolutely well aware that he won't. These might be double zeros actually, you know. These screws. Never mind, I am committed. Committed with single zeros. So I'm just going to check these just to make sure that we're sort of looking at the same screws. Yeah, they're the same. I think I might even have spares of these anyway somewhere. So I'm not too fussed about that. Loads of spring screws. Also, if I mess it up, I'll be looking back at this video to work out where the screws go. so that's always a good help. And then we'll take out these ones first. There's a couple of non-screwed ones also around the, goodness me, there's loads. Around the die as well. Dies. So it'll be interesting to see where the two dies sit. So you would think they were here. And then obviously usually they sort of occupy next to each other, or at least they do from when I've taken apart the GTX 690. I think that's, no, one of the few that I've taken apart actually. So I did own a GTX 295 at one point, a long time ago, before I first owned a GTX 480, and unfortunately I bought it from CX, or CX as they like to be known. And okay, I may need a more chunkier boy, I think, for that one. Try a 1. I either need a bigger one or a smaller one. I think it might well be a bigger one. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so a 1 Phillips for these screws. That's fine. So yeah, the thing I was going to say before is I don't have a magnetic mat for these screws. So anyway, yeah, I bought it from CX dirt cheap. It was far cheaper than I paid for it now, because it was old at the time I bought it. Bearing in mind, I think the 600 series was out, and I was buying a GTX 480 as well, that unfortunately died. Anyway, I bought the GTX 295 and it didn't work. Or should I say, it didn't work properly. And the issue was that one of the cores on the GPU was dead. So it was running at half capacity, and obviously they tend to put two sort of cut down flagships in their dual GPUs, and then they then basically run on what is effectively like an internal SLI bridge of sorts. So I'm not certain if I have to take off the IO shield. Probably do. Yeah, probably do, looking at it. Now there are a number of LEDs in this one, and I am painfully aware that there will be some little connectors in here as well. But these screws are just holding it onto the PCB. You probably can't. Oh no, the LEDs are actually on the PCB anyway, so we're probably fine with that. But that just removes it from the actual bulk of the cooler, which should make it easier to take apart. No guarantees, of course, and I don't want to move it too much for fear of, yeah, no, I think I might have to take the bracket off, and I've only got access to one of the screws, only because it'll interfere. I think the DVI port will stop it from being taken apart. That is not brill. But other than that, we're not in too much. I think I'm trying to work out where we are being held on at the moment. There's a little lip here which is also holding on the PCB. I can probably get into that, but yeah, it's not being held on back here. See, this is pretty much coming up. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it didn't really need too much persuasion. So what I'll do before I start, I'll put these little screws away. So because I don't have a mat, I tried to bunch things up as well as possible. I also don't want to do any damage to any thermal pads or anything like that, so I'm going to try and be as gentle as possible. Snagged on something. What are we snagged on? Is it? Ooh, okay. Snagged on a ribbon cable, of course. Ooh, gosh. Oh no, don't tell me I've just ripped that out. I think I have, you know. That's unfortunate for me. Okay. Okay, well I wasn't expecting that in any case. So it looks like the dye is, oh, and thermal paste is actually wet. So I probably didn't even need to take this apart. Yeah. I'm hoping you can see what's in there. I'm hoping we're still recording as well, because there's nothing on the screen at the minute. Okay, yeah, there we go. So fearfully, I think I've done some damage, which is not great. To a ribbon cable on here, I think it's just popped off, and I can't see the little tabs to get it back in. But effectively, thermal paste is fine. I've taken out this bracket now, which is good move on my part. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. I've just unclipped them. So there you have it. There it is. We will apply some more thermal paste anyway, although I don't think there's a need. Hopefully these are like pressure ones. They look like they might be. Which means they'll just clip in over the top. I'll give it a go. In any case, I don't have much choice now. And then you've got the plate as well over the top, over the die, like this. So it's a bit different to what I was expecting. It's probably the two chips together under that one IHS, which is a bit different to normal. So yeah, So from what I gather, these two connectors here must be something to do with power delivery, because we have our 6-pin on the board itself, and then we have a 8-pin extra on the cooler, which is very bizarre, I must say, especially by modern standards. And yeah, it does mean that I don't know how you would even go about trying to maybe water cool something like this. I guess it probably wouldn't be possible. Well, anyway, in any case, I've got my isopropyl alcohol and my blue roll. Blue roll being the key part. Well, the isopropyl alcohol, I guess, being the key part. Don't drink it. Won't do you much good. Don't get in your tea either. You know what? It's a little bit hard, but not overly so. My only concern now is, because this is a lot of thermal paste, and unfortunately I'm starting to run out. So I don't accept donations of really anything, but if anyone's got any thermal paste, like loads of it, let me know. I'm always on the lookout. Or you see any deals on thermal paste, that will do as well. So it's quite scuffed up actually, this copper plate. Won't really make much difference. As I say, the temps weren't bad. I'm not expecting this really to have any major impact on temps either, but it is sort of mandatory when you take something apart, maintain it, clean out any dust. Don't think there's well, no dust on the board. It's very clean. So the less said about that, the better, as far as I'm concerned. So let's have a look. So we have a G200 400 B3 massive Nvidia chip. Love it. It's bigger than, it's much bigger than a Ryzen CPU, which I do have to hand. And smashing another graphics card. But there you go. There's a Ryzen CPU for comparison. Fair difference. I mean, nothing that really should shock anybody, but there you go. So, do I use my MX4 or my MX2? Well, I've only got one go of the MX2 left, and I've got less than one go of the MX4. So, oh gosh. Okay, we'll go MX2. Time for me to get some new thermal paste anyway, so we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna, like I say, have to apply it quite liberally anyway because of the very nature of the card. We'll do the cross with the dots and also the adjoining issues, and then yeah, okay, yeah, well, that's nearly all gone now then, I guess. Thing is, you don't want to put too much so it doesn't like squirt out the sides if I ever have to do it again, but you know, it is a hefty old IHS. I think that's it. Oh yeah, there we go. The MX2 is all out. Well, I can go in the bin then. Ooh, gosh, cost me a fortune. Fortune in the least troubling aspect. Okay, I'm going to put that down, put that to one side. Don't know how I'm going to be able to connect this together, but we will give it a go. I imagine we will do something. Yes, yes, something. Oh, okay, so they are a tad flexible. They have their flexibility, I should say. There's no way they've got into place, I shouldn't imagine. No, of course not. That plate's come off as well. Lovely stuff. Got thermal paste on my mat. Lovely stuff. Right, okay. Apologies about that. So it seems like the GoPro stopped recording. So, best I can tell is that the two ribbon cables have clipped back in. Don't really know. I mean, it's not intuitive by any stretch, and I will put it back in the computer just to make sure that it does in fact work, and I'll probably or certainly do that before I put all the screws back in. So I'll probably put I'll put the two in for the IO shield, and then I'll also put the 4 in for the die, although probably needs more than that, but still. And then we'll just check that it works. We'll go from there really. But yeah, it looks like those ribbon cables just snap back in. And if that is the case, they managed to do that, I've got to say I am impressed. I mean, they look like they have. There must be something to do with how the sort of cooler places the pressure down once you get it lined up, I think. I just don't know. I just cannot tell you. Right. So these were 00, probably ones will be fine, I imagine. We'll see. Yes, gripping. Yeah, that's gone in at a horrendous angle, so we'll take that one out. Gosh, disaster. Okay, we're not properly lined up, which won't help us. One of the more difficult parts of putting together your graphics card. Always easier to take things apart than it is to put them back together. You will often find things don't quite line up as you have put them in. We're a little bit off, and I think I know why, actually, because I believe it is the metal plate. So the bracket that goes around the GPU, I believe, yeah, it's moving around a little bit. So I'll try and get some of these screws in. Hopefully that will give us enough pressure to get that plate back up against the PCB. Obviously gravity is far more persuasive than I am currently, which is not a surprise. And then hopefully we can move it back into place. Oh, what? The spring screws have coiled themselves. So there's all 4 screws for the die. I think that plate is still moving around. Oh, you're a tricky customer, Mr. Plate. Let's see if I've got any of those that line up. Yeah, that one might. No, I think I might have it now, actually. It's always an adventure taking apart a different, a graphics card from a different era, especially the Nvidia ones, or the reference, or we would class them as the reference designs now. Always lots of screws. That's the key feature, and all of them seemingly have got their own weird quirks, really weird quirks. Can't describe how funky some of them are. Well, we've seen one today. If we took apart the 690 or the 1080 or the 2080, it's different every time. And then obviously you've got the variation between even the same series, 3070 or 3060, much different founder's card than the other ones. Right, so we'll very quickly try it out, see if it works. It should do. I hope it does, because it was working before. So pray for me, please. I'm sure it'll be fine, but still, you never know with these things. Very nice having the test bench at hand for these matters. I think we'll know pretty early if we haven't, because we'll be missing 8 pins worth of power, and that usually does not go unnoticed. Okay, green light is on, which is usually a good sign, although no blue light, which is not usually a good sign. Fan spin, good sign. Monitor on. of a good sign. I'm just not sure why I don't have a blue light. I usually have a blue light on the GPU. Okay. Well, I've put back in my other Windows system, so that won't tell me anything. I'm going to say that it works. It did power up. It has displayed an output, which we'll have to do for now because I don't particularly want to change over my NVMe drives. So that will do. And I'm guessing as the fan is spinning and it's taking the 8-pin power, at least one of those two ribbon cables have gone back in, so I imagine both of them have. And there we go. Okay. Oh, there we go. Blue light's on as well. So yes, it will. If we're on the right operating system, it definitely would work. Or not even right operating system, right version of the operating system. But that is a story for another day. So there we go. It's just a case now of putting together the last few parts, really, to be honest. And we'll see. Like I say, I was fairly happy taking that apart with the thermal paste application. The fan is very clean. The board is also very clean. So I can only think that whoever I bought it off of, which was admittedly a while ago now, must have cleaned it themselves before sending it to me. Or cleaned it themselves anyway and then not used it for a while. So, because I've not. I've had it in a bag pretty much the whole time that I've had it. And of course we've got the, I'll just put them down when I need to take them back out because we've got the back plate, haven't we? Well, that was my mistake. So yeah, those ribbon cables, interesting. Probably one of the, I've not seen them before. I mean, I imagine they are on other things, but due to sort of the compact nature of this card, or dense nature of this card rather than compact, there's a need obviously for, I knew there would be ribbon cables, but not what I was expecting. So that's good because difference is the spice of life. That's not the right quote, but anyway. So I've been trying out, this is also going to be a test for the microphone on the GoPro, the image quality of the GoPro. Recorded it at 4K, hopefully, because obviously it's a lot of stuff is out of the frame of what I want you guys to see, but hopefully that means then I can sort of super sample it, taking a leaf from Nvidia's book and do it that way. I'm sure they'd be proud. And yeah, sort of be able to use that to my advantage. Put this little thing back on. I'm not actually 100% sure what it's for, a protective device, or I don't think it's a vanity plate. I do think it genuinely has a purpose. If anyone knows, pop it in the comments. I don't know, and I'm okay not knowing actually, but yeah, if you do know, it's not something I would Google. And it's also one of those questions where you're like, how would you Google this? And that, I can't answer you. There you go. That's like the bulk of it, and then we then have the optional shark fin, or I call it the shark fin anyway, which goes on like that. Does it go on like that, or does it go on like this? I have no idea. We're going to have a downwards fin though, I think, for this one. And these are thumb screws. Oh no, maybe it is the other way. I think it's the other way. Okay. Because it is slightly, there we go. Yeah, it is. No, no. You know what? Ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. So it's a flathead if you want, but it's got enough profile on it for me to just be able to screw it in. Here's what I'll do. And that'll be it. So something a little bit different, I guess. or not, I guess. It is something a little bit different. Don't know if it's been interesting, or I'm just hoping that I just really wanted it to be a relaxed video, other than the stress of the ribbon cables. It has been, and been a bit interesting, a little bit different, which I always like to try and give you guys. Still not finished my tea, which is a shame because it's now cold. In the words of Dido, tea's gone cold. And I always put things back in the wrong slot as well. So that's my 00, that's my 0, that's my 1. You can get this kit off Amazon. If anyone's interested, let me know. I'll link it, but there's nothing fancy about it. We've got a pair of tweezers, some spudgers, a thing to get back of a mobile phone off, and one of those little SIM card things. And yeah, found it pretty useful, to be fair. It's helped me out quite a bit. Nice purple alcohol. No MX2 left, a small amount of MX4, which gives me cause to be concerned. I need to order some more thermal paste, which I will do now, actually, after doing this video. So there you go, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. I don't think I would do anything like this again. It was like a teardown or something, but I just thought it would be nice to have as a little bit of a one-off. I enjoy having videos that are a little bit like that, a little bit different. And yeah, stay cool, everyone. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.